Hey guys, it's Craig here. So here's the video I promised. My collection. I've got the folders. I'm going to go through them. I'm going to try and whiz through them fairly quickly. Otherwise we might be here for a while. Happy to answer any questions in the comments, stuff like that. I guess before I get into the folders, I'll start off with my fixed blades. The fixed blades are a bit more limited than the folders. I love fixed blades. I just find they're not quite as fascinating for me as the folders. I'm not going to pick these all up, but you can kind of see a few of them there. The one I will pick up is this one, an absolute user, as you can see, a tank. So yeah, but here are the rest of my fixed blades. This is one I had when I was a kid. I was about 14. Grew up in Sheffield. This is Sheffield steel, high carbon, certainly not stainless. And I'll tell you what, this has had some freaking abuse over the years. 14-year-old kid growing up in the wilds of South Yorkshire. Yeah, that's been absolutely battered. Doesn't get used anymore for obvious reasons, more sentimental value. I keep saying I'm going to get a new handle on it and reduce the pommel a bit. Anyway, there you go. So, you've had a little look at my small collection of fixed blades. I'll take you back over to the folders. I'm going to go through the slip joints first, then we'll move on to these that don't fit in the case, and then we'll go into all that amazing, mainly titanium goodness in the case. So, yeah, as I say, I'll try and run through this fairly quickly, but probably best to go and grab yourself a drink, carve out half an hour, somewhere quiet, and hopefully you can enjoy. So, starting off with a little James brand Carter. This has been converted to a slip joint, so it becomes UK legal carry. We'll move on to the little Best Tech Junji. This is the twisted assist. Lovely little thing. D2 steel, so it has to be kept very dry. And it's actually had a bit of use. I don't have many users, but that's been one of them. The actual Thai Junzi, I think I'm saying that right, Junzi. Again, a little bit of carry, a little bit of use. Lovely thing. And if I'm honest, my slip joints probably get more carry and use than any others, simply because of the draconian knife laws we have over here. The Spyderco Native 5, this is in fluted Thai. Again, this was converted to a slip joint, so it becomes UK legal. Lovely thing. It's done a lot of time with me. Any of you who know me know I'm a huge Hinderer pervert. So this is my first Hinderer, the XM Slippy Slicer. I obviously customised it because, well, that's what you do when you buy a Hinderer, right? You can, so you do. So there you go. Again, lots and lots of pocket time. Surprising little use, actually, but when I do use it, very capable. The Spyderco Pits, or Spits, should I say, sorry. Spyderco Spits, Spyderco Pits. This is the original version, upgraded with the Lynch clip. I quite fancy one of the new ones, but I just thought I can't justify it. And this is the Mike Reed, this is the Pits Mark IV. So again, this one was tuned for me by the amazing Darren Jackson, so it now really opens nicely. And for any of you who don't know, this back kind of spring here locks it in place. So it's not a locker, it is technically a slip joint, but this works almost like a lock when you're holding it. So this is absolutely solid, and again, a little bit of use, lots of carry, stunning thing. Moving over to these Bokers. I think they're now a little bit too big for UK legal carry, but they don't get much carry time really. I'd quite like to put titanium or aluminium scales on them. That's probably far worse than the knives are actually worth. This is one that sits in my car. It's a two-handed opening slip joint. It's got a really stiff spring, so that's why it sits in the car. As part of my car EDC. Here we have my old Scout jackknife. You can see that's had a bit of use and sharpening over the years. Again, I was a kid when I got this. I was about 12 or something. So yeah, it's had a fair bit of use. I I thought I'd lost it, and I found it probably 5-6 years ago. So yeah, solid thing, very old. Leatherman Crater, multi-tool. And then we move on really to a couple of sacks. I'm not going to go through these because I can't open them one-handed. And a Boca Tech tool. Love the sacks, love the Tech tool, Leatherman. You need those kind of things. They get carry, they get use. Not incredibly exciting, but nonetheless valuable tools. So let's move on. Here's a user. This is the Buck Alpha Hunter. As you can see, this gets used. A surprisingly incredibly solid knife. I mean, for anyone that's a Buck fan, just can't recommend this enough. Doesn't cost that much. I don't think they even make these ones anymore, but there's probably still a few out there. But the Buck Alpha Hunter. This is the one, I think it's 440 steel, or is it 420 maybe? I'm turning it around. This is the premium version with rosewood and S30. Boss treated. Absolutely incredible. This one is a safe queen, to be fair, rather than a user. But again, the Buck Alpha Hunter. Just phenomenal. This was a later version of the Buck. I think it was the Alpha Hunter as well, in S30 and Boss treated. I had the flipper ground off, so it could be a bit more reasonable carry in the UK if I had a reason. Again, solid knife, great, love it. And although the Bucks don't get much praise, I'm a real big fan of them. This is the Buck Selkirk, not really sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Again, gets a bit of use, it's cleaned up, great, solid thing. And for some reason my users tend to be the knives that don't cost too much, which is ridiculous because the high-end stuff will take far more abuse should I throw it at it, but I seem to baby them. Anyway, I guess that's the collector in me. So, you can see my feet, it's hot, so barefooted. And then we get to these little pyrites. Fancied one of these for ages. Just got one. Got this about a month ago. Lovely little thing. Oh, really like that. Again, this will become a user. And I got the Pyrite Alt, the Warney. Well, I'm not really sure it is a Warney. It's got a kind of slightly curved blade, hasn't it? I always thought Warncliffes was supposed to be flat. But anyway, there we go. So, the Pyrites. Here's a thing of beauty. The Kaiser T1. This is the micarta. It was the green micarta. I'm a weirdo. I've got OCD. For me, it's got to be black. So I had this dyed black by the amazing Stig. A lovely, lovely knife. And again, that will be a user at some points. And then we've got the monster, the biggest knife in my collection, the Max Hestapus. I think I'm saying that right. Just such an incredible thing. I mean, the weight of this thing, I should probably have some scales here so I could weigh it and compare a few, but we start going down that road and suddenly it's a couple of hours. This thing is incredible. Absolute hulk of a knife. So, little Benchmade. This is the North Fork. Again, this gets a bit of use. Lovely knife. Deep carry clip put on there. I've had this one for years actually. That's probably one of my longest serving ones. And we've got this one, the little Everyday EDC F5.5. I think is it Segalia pattern? Yeah, the Sailor Blade, M390. Love this. A safe queen for sure. I bought it kidding myself it'd be a user, but not to be. Safe queen she is. DPX Heats. I've had this one again for years. A really, really long time serving one in my collection. Absolute solid little chunk of a knife. Bottle opener on the back, which is surprisingly effective. Really short blade, but it's stout. It's actually surprisingly sharp. It's got a lovely, I don't know if you can really see. It comes down to a really thin edge, so it actually works. And it's surprisingly comfy in the hand. I've got quite big paws, and it kind of fits. And it's got this glass breaker on the end there. I mean, I don't think I'm ever going to use that. Or at least I hope not, but nice to have. And then we go to another old one. So I was in the army for 3 years. I was an infantryman many years ago. I've always loved knives in EDC. I didn't really realise there was a thing. I don't think this one flicks out even. But when I was a young man, I was an infantryman for 3 years, and I had this. So this is, spent some time, seen some action, done a load of weird stuff that you would abuse a knife with, and surprisingly it's still okay. I should probably strip it down and lovingly restore it, but somehow I like it how it is. So yeah, cheap, cheerful, surprisingly robust. Another user, this is the Kaiser Vigor, I think it is, in VG10. This is the kind of one that opens envelopes and parcels and stuff and sits on my desk. So again, it's a lovely, lovely little knife. Wax lyrical about these, gets so much use, and it's just brilliant. For the money, you go a long way to get something better. So, got this Ganzo, I got ages ago. I don't know if you can kind of see it there on the blade, but I absolutely scuffed it up, cutting a load of turf out of the garden a few years ago. It's never been able to get a proper edge back on it. And, it's about a tenner, so I've never really been bothered. But, again, an absolute user beater. Surprisingly comfy in the hand. That just fits me really nicely. Anyway, there you go. Cheap and cheerful. So, we're getting to the good parts. I'm just going to move these along a little bit, so we can have a bit more space for the stuff in the case. Okay, where to start? I'm going to start at this side. So these are my Hinderers. So if you're not a Hinderer fan, and I am a huge Hinderer fan, I'll warn you now, you might want to go and get a cup of coffee for 5 minutes. So, Hinderer designed ZT, absolutely incredible. I mean, this, to all intents and purposes, is a full tie eclipse. Just phenomenal. Limited run, don't make them anymore. A brilliant, brilliant, brilliant knife. Then we have the Project X. Fairly recent acquisition. Really, really, I've got a bit of fluff on it. Really happy with this. Okay, XM24. Had about 6 of these at one point, but you know how it is, times get hard, priorities change, things move on. This is the Bowie, full tie, XM24. And then we find this one. Again, the XM24. This is the Harpoon Spanto. This one's on washers, and it just works so smoothly. Okay. So, some eclipses. This is I was going to go for the flipper tab. This is the non-flipper, obviously. Spear points, fairly recent. Incredible, incredible knife. For anyone that's on the fence about a Hinderer, I know they've had a lot of bad press. It's not my job to try and sell them to you, but I tell you what, I think they are incredible. Highly, highly recommended. Not cheap, and frankly, it's a pain in the arse that you've got to put a tie scale on if you've got a bit of OCD like me, but that's our hobby and our passion. This is the latest one, the Warncliffe. The action on that, just phenomenal. And here we go. The last eclipse. This is the old Gen 1 trailing points. This one's S35. Again, incredible action. Say S35, yeah, S35. Okay, so this is where we've got to. I'm just going to turn the light on. Feels like it's getting a little bit dark. Okay, a few more Hinderers. Ooh, Jurassics. They don't get much good publicity, Jurassics, and I don't know why. For me, they are absolutely fantastic. But anyway, full tie, battle black, spear points. Oh. Let's pick out the next one. Another Jurassic. Working finish. This is the slicer grind. And most of my Hinderers are tri-ways. I do prefer the bearings to the washers, but I do have a few on washers, and they are very, very good. The last Jurassic, this one's a flipper delete. I had the flipper taken off. Gives it a different look, a bit more of a usable choil. And again, the idea was this was going to be a user. To be honest, they really don't get much use. Most of my time is spent behind a desk in a computer nowadays. This is life. And then we move on to the incredible MP1. Possibly one of the most underrated Hinderers. I had this from new. I sold it. I managed to get it back. I've had 2 or 3 MP1s, and I keep them, don't use them, sell them, miss them like crazy and want them back. There's the disease of the collector, I suppose you would say. Just excuse me for a second, chaps, gonna have a quick drink. Okay. Right. Continuing with the Hinderers. So, XM18, 3.5s. Spear points, battle black. You can probably see it better over this side. I'm just hoping I've got enough space on this table. I think we probably have. We'll see. Another XM18. This is the Harpoon Spanto. This one is in S35. So again, on that basis, it was going to become a user. You know, that's the story of my life, really, isn't it? It was going to be a user. Yeah, right. Who am I kidding myself? The world's biggest clown right here. But I've had great fun building the collection and pimping them out. We come to the Fatty Warncliffe. Oh, man, I didn't like Warncliffes for the longest time. I thought they were ugly, useless, couldn't see the points. And I got in a few debates, and I kind of thought, well, okay, you know, I'm making this judgment based on looks, you know, never judge a book by its cover. What we always say, isn't it? So I thought I'll get one. And I found this one, snagged it, picked it up, imported it from the US. It's like, holy friggin' Nora, that's incredible. So the Warncliffe love was born. This one's really something a bit special for me. This one's the recurve. For the longest time I wanted a recurve. And anyone that's a Hinderer fan will know, up until about a year ago, you just couldn't get them. And then he brought out these. So it has my pride and joy to scale on it, full working finish, full concrete build. There we go. Only a few more Hinderers to go. So again, the XM18 3.5. Now this one is the Skinner. This one, I'm not sure if you can make it out, but it's got a hand ground. It's 2016 special edition. And again, this is a flipper deletes. Once again, the idea being, it'll be a user, flipper deletes. Yeah. What a joke I am. Or a joker. One day I'll stop kidding myself. So, this was the Hinderer really that started it all off for me. I had the XM Slippy Slicer, which is an amazing knife, but doesn't quite tick the same boxes as the 3.5. So this is the factory non-flipper. My first full-size Hinderer. absolutely incredible. And that started the love affair, really. And I think for as long as I've known EDC as a thing, for about, I don't know, the last 6 years or whatever, 7 years, it was the XM18 3.5 that was one I was like, oh man, I need one. So when I finally got one, absolutely made up. Here we go. Here we have the fullered spear points. Again, this is a non-flipper. Incredible actions on these. I think there is a genuine difference between having a full-tie version and not. They seem firmer and smoother, but I do wonder, is that in my mind? The last XM18 3.5, this is the Bowie, full tie again, flipper deletes. There we go. Okay, so, doing well. I hope you're still listening. I hope I've not bored anyone. Right, moving on then. Cold steel, AD10. Solid chunk of a knife, as anyone who's got one knows. Let's see, let's start putting them up here out of the way a bit, space them out. And then we come into the Chavezes. This is the little street version, Tanto, micarta inlay. Brilliant thing. Really, really nice compact tank. I used to have a lot more Chavezes, but you know how it goes. The Tanto, this is the newer version with the screws on the skull. Those grinds, just incredible. Such a comfy knife. And you know, those people say, oh, the clip is ugly or it doesn't look comfy and stuff. I'm like, yeah, I get it. But actually, you don't really feel it much. It just melts in your hand. I mean, if you're putting it through real hard use, you'd probably feel it a bit more. But for every day, it's fine. And they come now with a different clip. So I think a big improvement there. This is the older school one, old school Liberation. Spear points. Again, this doesn't have the screws there, which personally I prefer. I think it's a cleaner look. So again, we kind of, those grind lines, man. And this is a serious thing. Love him. Absolutely love him. Again, great knives, Chavezes. Made by Reeds, seriously high quality. Oh, the Evo 3. This one's made by Custom Knife Factory. Designed by John Sorensen, Rotten Designs. It's a bit of a guillotine, have to be really careful. Incredible, incredible thing. Conigarius. Beautiful. They're so precise. Clinical maybe. I've had a couple of these and they can be a little bit soulless, but this one just works for me. Maybe it's the bronze Tiano on the hardware. Anyway, what a beautiful thing. Here we go for the CRK fans. The Boss. The Numzan. Look at that. Beautiful. Again, I kidded myself. Well, I'll get one of these and it'll be a user, right? Yeah, right. I can flick this open now, I said. But when you flick so many knives open in quick succession, they all have a different knack. So this one is still being broken in a bit. Again, Stig gave it a tune for me and it's night and day over where it was. I just need to get a bit more used to it. That's it. There we go. So, ZT. Again, heavily customized. Absolute tank. We have the Lion Steel TM1. This is an integral micarta. Love that blade. Not very fiddly, but a great solid knife. This is the Boca Premium brand. SD2 I think it is. Again, lovely knife. Tried to sell this a while ago and no interest, and actually I'm quite glad it didn't sell now because it is a really nice thing and I'm glad I can keep it. Benchmades, full-size Adnams. This is the new one in crew wear. Absolutely phenomenal. And again, real beast of a knife. And the Benchmade Loco. Again, an older one, had it in my collection for years. This one's S30. Incredible. The curvature of the handle, you would think it won't be comfy, but it melts in the hand and it just fits and it's right. Yeah, and again, an absolute solid tank of a knife. Here we go, relatively recent acquisition, the Curtis. This is the F3. It's a standard thickness slicer, non-flipper. And a lot of people have said that they really don't like the clips and his kind of crosshairs design. Well, David Curtis was an ex-Marine, so why wouldn't he do that? I think it's cool. Then I'm an ex-infantryman. I suppose it all depends on where you're coming from, what your view is. Lovely thing. Really like this more than I thought I would. I'm not going to tell you it's going to become a user because you'll just laugh at me, but you can kind of see where I'm going with it. But yeah, not strangely, I mean, the jimping here, people say Hinderer jimping's rough. Yeah, this is really rough jimping. And again, the same here. But it doesn't kind of feel uncomfortable, even though it's rough. But I do wonder, is it made for a pair of gloves? Anyway, this one, love it. This is an older version in is it XHP? Yeah, there you go. Great knife. Very happy with that. That's a medium. I mean, size comparison to an XM18, you can see there really isn't very much in it. But of course, having said that, the large one is now calling me. So, here we go. Kunwu knives. This is the X-Tau. Fantastic. For the money you pay for these, they are punching well above their weights. Oh. There we go. Really nice thing. I think we're going to see lots of really good things coming out of Kunwu. I know they've released more already. So yeah, very exciting times. Spartan Hearty folder. This is the St. Michael's. Absolutely incredible. And I got another one, Spartan Hearty folder. This is a newer version with the S45 steel. I had the handles and the clip cerakoted. Again, for me, that just works. There we go. Needs a bit of breaking in. Okay, here we go. This is the Escorts clutch lock. Kaiser. Incredible. This is the steel liners and aluminium scales. I hope they do a Thai version, because if they do, I will promptly buy it. It's the Kaiser Critical. Again, another Warncliffe. Incredible action. Bit of a solid tank, that one. The little Kaiser Shamshir, Persian blade. Love that upswept Persian blade. Again, a decent solid chunk of a knife, but it also feels surprisingly dainty in the hand. It's, yeah, definitely a good one. I fear we may be running out of space, so will my OCD let me put this last Kaiser somewhere else? This is the T1 in Thai. Incredible. Again, for the price you pay for these, they just punch so much above their weights. Protec Mordax. Fancy one of these for years. Finally got one. Oh, look at me. I'm going to try and undo the frame lock. It's a button lock, of course. Camera's not really picking up the blue scales very well. That's better. There you go. Brilliant. Here we have the Wee Brian Brown design. It's the Trogon. Lovely knife, great action, amazing in hand. We have this. Let's see if I can, there we go. Bit different, really strange locking mechanism, but it works. It's surprisingly difficult actually when you're filming. But yeah, again, very good in the hand, very comfy, very slicey. That probably will become a user at some point, but we'll see. I say that far too often. And then we have the Malice. Ferrum Forge design. Look at that blade, absolutely beautiful. So, there we have it. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video and the collection. I'll just pan over them quickly so you can see. One thing I would say, guys, is, you know, I've really enjoyed showing these. I hope you've enjoyed watching. I haven't always had a collection like this. I'm not going to go into details, but you know, I started off with a fairly humble, small collection, and slowly but surely it kind of grew. And that's an individual preference that we all have. But whether your collection is big or small, high end, low end, you know, users, safe queens, whatever it is, it'd be lovely to see more collection videos. So I hope that no one kind of feels, oh God, I can't show my collection because they're not, you know, I don't have premium high end blades and stuff. For me, it's not about that. It's about the joy they bring you. And the use that they give you, I suppose. So please do feel free to create your own little video, whether it's a minute long or what's this, over half an hour now, you know, like mine. And I think we'd all love to see more. This is such an amazing group. I'm so incredibly pleased with the way EDC Europe has taken off. You know, over 600 members now, and you know, that's down to you guys for making it amazing. And the amazing admin team that we have that, you know, spend a lot of time making sure that we get good people in and people follow the rules. So yeah, please do share your videos, lots of engagements. You know, I hope people feel free to introduce themselves, and have a wonderful rest of the weekend. Thanks, guys.